Hey guys, last time in Dragon Ball Super episode 127, we had Toppo finally get eliminated, leaving Jiren alone for Universe 11, and facing off against Universe 7's Goku, Vegeta, number 17, and even though they didn't show him, Frieza, just because we can infer that he was still in the match, because he did not appear in the bench, nor did anybody confirm that he was out. Or that was episode 126 rather, and this is episode 127. The Approaching Wall, the Final Barrier of Hope. By the title alone, we know already that this is about Android 17 because his specialty is barriers. We all know that at the start of the tournament, the Grand Priest made the fighting stage to be indestructible, but as time went by, the fighters' battles became more and more intense that this became less so, and in fact, it was when Toppo released his God of Destruction powers that the fighting stage really fell apart, fell into chunks even. So there's one big main part where the sinking pillar is, but there's also this kind of island right beside it where Jiren battles Universe 7 for, I'd say, the duration of this episode. So Jiren begins powering up. He's showing us finally his true power, and it looks like he's in the center of a star with his flaming aura. The Omni-Kings even commented that he was on fire. Vegeta said that Jiren finally got serious with all his friends gone because Jiren was the only one left. One thing about Dragon Ball that I seem to like speculating on is how much more powerful Beerus still is compared to these fighters. Now, if he really is more powerful than them, he's not really leagues away from the likes of Jiren or maybe even Ultra Instinct Goku anymore. But I pretty much still think he is. Of course, there's really no specific or solid evidence in the power scaling between Beerus and these fighters. What I've been basing these on are more of what the characters say and what the reactions are. That being said, if you remember in episode 109, Beerus was exclaiming how so much power could come out of one person when Jiren first powered up. Now, Beerus did not show the same level of concern this time, which to me says that upon first seeing Jiren, it was no surprise to him that such a character could reach this amount of power, and that it was really not a threat, but rather he just hadn't seen someone who could match up to that level before. Universe 7 gets right on it. Number 17, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and this Super Saiyan Beyond Blue Vegeta were barely a match for Jiren. There was even this one time where Goku did a Warp Kamehameha, but Jiren stopped it with an uppercut, and that uppercut created some sort of ki blast knocking him off. Jiren wasn't completely untouchable though. When Goku and Vegeta were double teaming him, Vegeta was even able to knock him off by kicking him out. 17 was able to get close enough to damage him and even tear his outfit with a close-range explosive ki blast. There was even something, I wouldn't exactly call it a beam struggle, but basically 17 used a powerful beam attack, Vegeta used his final flash, and Goku used his Kamehameha to hit Jiren from three sides. And Jiren used his energy, that same fire energy from before, to create maybe some sort of barrier around him, and do an explosive attack, kinda like Vegeta's Big Bang attack, and finally knock them off. Now, Vegeta and Goku were down for the count, but number 17 was still standing. Before getting into a face-off between these two, Frieza made a comeback for a while though. He even talked about forgetting the rules, saying that he should be the one to kill Jiren. But he was no match for Jiren even at his gold form, and Jiren easily knocked him off, unconscious somewhere. You could notice last episode that they were implying that 17, Vegeta, and Goku were the only ones left, even though nobody explicitly said that Frieza was already out of the tournament. Now, I thought they were maybe hiding Frieza until the end, or Frieza was hiding himself, so that whenever it comes down to just Jiren and Goku left, Ultra Instinct Goku can fight Jiren and wear him out, or maybe they could even eliminate each other, but nobody will remember that Frieza was actually still in the game the whole time, thus giving Universe 7 kinda a climactic win over Universe 11. Like I said, they're just fighting in the small chunk of the fighting stage right now. There's still a big piece of it left, the main part. If I were Frieza, I could go hide somewhere there, or maybe in one of the other parts of the fighting stage that's left and unseen, and hopefully Jiren won't reach him there. This could be a good plan for beating Jiren, if not by brute force or by power, to outsmart him and sort of have the numbers for Universe 7's sake. A very important part of this episode is finally revealing some sort of backstory to Jiren. It all started when Jiren was a kid. Now, his parents were killed by an evil being. They did not specify who this was or exactly show what he looks like, but Jiren was later on taken in by a teacher. The teacher and Jiren later on had allies, students of the said teacher, and once again they were able to face the evildoer. However, the evildoer killed everyone, all the students except for Jiren, and even his teacher. Now, there were some surviving students who didn't go with them, and Jiren tried recruiting them so that they could take on the evildoer once more later on. But they were too scared of his power, and thus left Jiren alone. So this is why Jiren was saying that he needed to get stronger. He even mentioned that strength is justice. And it is implied that later on, Jiren finally joined the Pride Troopers. So it's implied that Jiren's wish is somewhat to do with changing the past. Now, I'm not sure if it's exactly changing the past that he will ask of the dragon, or to become stronger, because Jiren said that strength forgives all, even the past. So maybe he wants to become stronger so that he can forget the past with his power. If he does wish to become the strongest, I wonder how this will work. Now, let's say that Jiren is indeed stronger than all the gods of destruction. This will only leave the angels, the Grand Priest, and Zen-Oh among few others who are more powerful than he is. If he makes such a wish, can the dragon even grant it? Or would Zen-Oh and the others even allow it? Of course, Goku and Vegeta want to revive at least Universe 6, which is something that's contrary to why the Tournament of Power is being held to begin with. Because we know that Zen-Oh wanted to get rid of the other universes, and the tournament was only a way for one of the universes he wanted to get rid of to survive. We still do not know how that scene will be like, or how Zen-Oh will react to Goku wanting to undo all his work. Another one of my personal curiosities was answered here, in that Jiren doesn't really respect Belmod, or at least not in the way that Toppo would respect a god. Due to this story, we had Jiren telling Belmod, "That's enough out of you, Belmod." So aside from that tone that Jiren used, he didn't even call Belmod-sama, like the others would do, to show their respect to the gods of destruction. Frieza once did the same thing to Beerus, but instantly took it back out of fear of Beerus. But we know that Jiren is more powerful than Belmod. Belmod seems to think highly of Jiren though. Aside from this disrespect, if I may call it that, 17 was saying that it's ironic of Jiren that his problem with people was trust, when Jiren himself seemed to be using the Pride Troopers to gain an advantage or achieve his goals, which is the Super Dragon Balls. Belmod's initial reaction was to defend Jiren's honor. Knowing this story would also be a reason why Toppo was not surprised when Jiren called him pathetic, because he knows how Jiren kinda respects strength and knows why strength is so important to Jiren that showing a lack of it would disappoint him. So towards the latter part of the episode, Jiren prepared a huge energy blast and hurled it right at 17 and knocked out Goku and Vegeta. Now 17 used barriers to try and stop Jiren's attack, but it was obviously no use. Jiren was just way too powerful. So instead, he protected Goku and Vegeta with barriers that he created around them and then self-destructed to make Jiren's attack subside. Number 17 actually died here. He took one for the team. This doesn't seem too harsh considering that even the Earth Dragon Balls can bring number 17 back to life. Now, of course, a possible thing that could have happened here was Jiren could have been seen as killing number 17, but the Grand Priest saw that number 17 just self-destructed or committed suicide, so he granted Jiren no penalties. So the episode left me with some thoughts in mind, the first being about this evildoer in Jiren's story. Who is he? Will we ever get to know who he is? Does Jiren even know who he is, or has Jiren defeated him already? If not, will we see this evildoer soon? Or maybe Jiren's wish is actually to know who this is. Think about it, his wish has something to do with changing the past. Maybe he hasn't closed this part of his life yet, because he has not yet gotten his justice against this evildoer, and wants the help of the Super Dragon Balls to do so. If not, This can also be a story for a future movie or a future Dragon Ball arc, wherever that may be placed in. The next is that I actually hope they forget about Frieza, that Frieza can hide until the end, so that when Ultra Instinct Goku fights Jiren, let's face it, this battle is inevitable, that Frieza can just hide in the sidelines, wait for them to tire each other or eliminate each other even, and give Universe 7 the 2-on-1 win versus Universe 11. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more great videos.